Today we're going to be finishing the user interface. We're not going to be writing any functionality, but we are going to be finishing the, how do you call it? The setup, right? The setup. Today we're going to be writing the icons. We're going to be placing also the text boxes, and we are going to be finally writing something and connecting. All right. Now we have done the, let's run it and see how it looks. We have done the connect, the comment, and the unfollow. And obviously what we want to do now is to take Control-D here, to take the text boxes and actually place them like so. So text here and text over here with icon over here and icon over here. Obviously it's not going to look so bad, but this is what we are aiming for. This is what we're going to be doing today. All right, let's go and write the comment button. Oh, no, the user. So this is going to be the setting the user, since we're already having the comment button over here. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I am going to do the following. I'm going to, again, open the image. Keep in mind, every single time that we want to add something to the canvas, we need to have references to it. So this means that I need to open something. I need to store it in a variable and obviously use that. Then I'm going to, again, resize the user. Now, I do not want the user to be as big as the Instagram logo, because you know that this is actually fairly big. I resized it by 300 by 300, I believe, and pass and username, I want them to be icons, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Again, we're going to be the same thing like the Instagram logo here. I am going to resize them. I'm going to use the resize variable over here, meaning that if I Control-D, I'm going to say resized user over here, and I'm going to be using it to create a photo image of type image TK. Then I'm actually going to create a label, and I'm going to be sending the label into the canvas by doing so. Also, one very important thing is that here, when we're creating a label, again, what kind of a handle am I going to use? The Windows knows that we are going to have root, because root is going to be, and I'm not going to write it like that, I'm going to write it like so. Root is the one thing that we are having here. This is the handle to our window. So obviously I want a label to our window. Also, I'm going to say, okay, what kind of an image do I want? I also want the resized image over here, and what kind of a width and height I want. I'm going to go with 100. Then I need to be placing it into the grid, and obviously I'm going to use column 1, which is going to be right below the Instagram, and row 1, which is going to be right below the Instagram again. If I run the file, you're going to see that here is my, probably I need to resize it later on, but I need to change it. It doesn't really matter. Here I have the user interface. Here I have the user PNG. Good. The final part, not the final part, but the next thing is to set the password, and I'm going to now create the same thing. Again, we're going to be opening the pass PNG. We're going to be resizing it. Keep them unified, 4040 and 4040 here on the resize. Also, I'm going to create a photo image with our password PNG, then I'm going to be making it a label, and then I'm going to be setting it up. Where do I want it? Now, one thing that's important here is that you can see here we have row 2 and here we have row 1. Obviously, I want the password to be right below the user. All right. Again, keep them unified. Everything needs to be unified, because otherwise it's going to be looking pretty bad. So this is very important to do. Good. Control S and run the Python file, and you can see that I am having 1 and the password is right below the user. Good. Well, this is actually looking fairly okay. It looks like a crack that you take from the Pirate Bay, but they are doing these cracks the same way, so that's why it's looking similar. Now, final part is for me to write the user text box and the password text box. This is going to be, if I run it over here, is going to be this text box over here. It's going to be, I'm going to write it with blue. Yeah, why not? It's going to be this text where I'm going to be writing, obviously, below the user, the username, and below the password, I'm going to write, and then this is going to be the UI. I'm going to connect. Of course, I'm going to choose the options if I want to comment to follow, and then I'm going to connect. Good. Set user text box. Now, when I'm setting the user text box, I am going to be using something else. I'm not going to be using grid. I'm going to be using place. The difference between grid and place is that when I type a .grid, and if I have a canvas over here, if I type .grid, it's going to automatically put the things inside my canvas, meaning that if I have these columns that I have been explaining for so long, it's going to be placing it automatically on column 1, row 2. That's why these two are staying right below each other. However, if I'm placing the text box, I don't have enough rows. One thing that you can mitigate that you can do to mitigate that is, of course, to make a different row span. This is going to make the whole application different. So this means that here I might get row span of 16, for example, and this is going to be, of course, looking different. But I am going to rather choose place. Place is like, if you have any familiarity with CSS, this is going to be the absolute, position absolute. Sorry, I had a notification on my phone. This is going to be the position absolute, meaning that I can change whenever I want. If I'm running that, you're going to see that my text box is standing right over here. Now, I do not like the way this looks because it's not in the middle. That's why I can actually change it. I can go to X and I can type, all right, I'm going to have 200. And here you can just play around it and see which one do you like best. As you can see, 200 is still not good, so that's why I'm going to go with 185, and this is, I think this is all right. We can still put it a bit to the right, so 187, something like this, and this should be, yeah, I think this is nice. Good. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you, if I say, I didn't want to remove that, I wanted to comment on that. Okay, if I say user input.grid and I'm placing it on the column 1, because that's where my username is, and I'm gonna choose row 2. Row 2, this is going to be now ugly because it's going to do this. Row 2, right? Meaning that if I want to do that, I want to change the rows. I can place this icon over here on row 3, meaning that it's going to be right over here, and this thing will stay. And I need to then fix the merge, not the merge, sorry, the margin over here. So it's, it's a bit more difficult. That's why I'm choosing the absolute position, and I'm just writing this. User input.place. .grid is the one that's going to be figured out automatically, and .place is the one that's going to be the absolute position, absolute in CSS. There we go. So now we can actually write some stuff over here. The final part for us today is to write the same thing, but I'm going to, actually, let me just take it from here. I'm going to set the pass text box. This is going to be our password. And again, we're saying tk text root. I'm choosing the height. Keep in mind the height is going to be uniform. Of course, I want the same thing, and I need to be placing it down. I need to be placing it below this. That's why Y is actually here bigger, as you can see. And again, I'm just going to keep it unified 187 because this is how long it should be, and this is where should it be on the Y axis. Now, if I play it, you can see that they're pretty unified. Also, they're having the same width, but this one is below the user icon, the password icon, and this one is below the user icon. And that's pretty much it. We're using the absolute position, quite easy, quite frankly. It's going to be the best way for this particular scenario, and that's why I am using it. And there we go. So we are actually having the user interface. It's not doing much. Actually, it's not doing anything. In the next episode, we are going to choose these. When you click them, they're going to be green, and they're going to change the text. This is going to be the comment, for example. This is going to be the follow. So if I choose this, I'm going to follow people. If I choose this, I'm going to comment on their posts. On the commenting and following, completely different story how we're going to do that. We're going to see. But here we just need to know what we're doing. The user interface is meant for you to know what kind of parameters you're actually going to send, and that's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to be writing here our IG username, and here we're going to be writing our IG password. Now, there are ways to actually make, when you're writing something on the password field, to look like so, right? Stars. But I'm not going to be covering that. And that is why every single time that I'm actually going to log into my Instagram, I'm going to blur the window. It's not going to be an error. It's going to be blurring because you can obviously see my username and password if I do not put stars. So this is, a bit of a cybersecurity here. All right, that's pretty much it. In the next episode, we're going to see how to switch these to green and how to actually add parameters before we connect. And connecting is going to run the initial Instagram bot, which is going to be the most interesting part of this series. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next one. I hope I see you